Hey, um, gonna do another video. This has been basically put on me in a hurry today, as I did the video yesterday about who's been born new, as there are lots of us out there that are having a hard time speaking truth in what the Bible has means to us, I guess, or the word means to us, through the eyes or through the word of God within our hearts and our mind. But I wanted to add this to this teaching. This one could kind of go on as a part two of how it's how do you truly know, right? Like, how do you know who around you is truly following the truth, truly following and has the Spirit of God dwelling in them, and is truly understands what this place actually is that they're living in. This goes along with this teaching I'm going to do today. This is a very good teaching for those that understand that things are not what they seem, and how the world has been completely deceived, and how they have made something physical that is truly meant to be much more powerful in regards to spiritual and in terms of who we are as beings. They've made it into more of a Mickey Mouse, let's fight back and forth about religion, 42,000 different denominations, etc., etc., when it means nothing. These proving the Bible and proving these places' existence means nothing into regards to what is actually being said by God. Now, you're looking at a picture of Nazareth in Israel. This is what they've called the town of Nazareth to be. I've been there a couple times. I'm going to share some pictures today of the physical land that we understand as Israel today, just as I do this teaching, and I hope the pictures come up. I'll try one now. Hopefully you can see that. This one here is on the road. You can see, I thought it was pretty cool. It's called Beware of Camels, so it was quite fascinating how the things in Israel are totally different, obviously. But here we have, and I'll go through the pictures, and hopefully you can see them as I do this teaching. This teaching is it's very good to understand what Jesus of Nazareth actually means. Of course, like everything else in this Mickey Mouse Disney world we live in, they have the places that you can go visit and spend your money and tourists, and you can do all these things. And they make a fortune over there doing all these tours of the so-called places that Jesus walked. And John the Baptist, he baptized in the Jordan River, which is completely polluted, and it's a cesspool over there. I mean, I would never even want to touch my foot into the Jordan that they so-called have the tourists go to baptize people, thinking they're being born again. It's quite ridiculous. But what does it mean, Jesus of Nazareth? Okay, where did that name come from? There's an actual argument out there that says that there was no such place, and there was no such place during Jesus' time as a town called Nazareth. Now, regardless, to me, I don't care if there was or there wasn't. To me, it really makes no difference, because that's not what was being taught, or that's not what is being said. It actually is pulled. What is actually being said is what I'm going to show you today. And Jesus of Nazareth is Chance from Canada, or Johnny from Mexico. It's not a place that is looked at as a I better get to Nazareth because that's where Jesus was, or let me go to Bethlehem because he was apparently born there, or let me go to the Sea of Galilee. We have made everything into a physicality because this world is all physical. It's all soul. Okay. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to go through a quick teaching, I hope it's quick, on essentially Jesus of Nazareth and what it truly means and why he was called Jesus of Nazareth. Okay? It all comes from number 6, and that's about Nazir, okay, which was it was a vow that was made by any man, essentially, to be a Nazir. And a Nazir essentially means one separated, one that has been separated, okay? And there's a lot of laws concerning that in number 6, which is absolutely foreshadowing who Christ is and who you are, who have been truly separated from this world, okay? So let me just go through a couple little things here, just like little housekeeping, as one would say. So we have Jesus Christ, right? Okay, he's born where? He was born in Bethlehem, we're told, right? Well, and of course, he's in the manger in the Catholicism during Christmas and all this stuff. They have him there, baby Jesus, and he's in that manger in the inn, and surrounded by donkeys and all this other stuff that they love to mock, right? And it has nothing to do with any of that. But he's born in Bethlehem, right, as a child. Well, Bethlehem actually comes from the Hebrew, and it means house, okay? And it actually means house of clay or house of dust. Okay, that makes a lot more sense to me, all right? Which, of course, who is the master of the house? He'd be the same master of Adam. As we know, Adam was created from the dust, okay? He was created from the clay, right? And the one that is able to shape the clay, right? So, of course, Jesus was born in Bethlehem, meaning house of clay or house of dust, okay? Then, of course, he's off to Egypt, all right? Well, we know that what Egypt means spiritually and what the understanding of Egypt and the understanding of Babylon truly means. We're living in it. It is this exact earth that you live in. It's Egypt. So he's off to Egypt, of course, because he's going to be killed. But then he returns. And when he returns, he goes to a town called Nazareth, which then he becomes known as Jesus of Nazareth. But it really should be Jesus, the separated one. Because when he returns and he starts to become essentially a man as he grows up, he is going to be then beginning to fulfill the wave sheaf, or beginning to fulfill the vow of the Nazir, which is the separated one, the only true separated one. Okay? And it's all spiritual. It has nothing to do with Bethlehem or Egypt or Nazareth. It doesn't matter about these places. What's being told by God through the living word is that it's all about the journey of one truly being born onto this earth as nothing but a piece of dust, being put into a testing atmosphere of Egypt, and then making the decision to follow and seek truth and find the true creator, and then make a vow that you will be separated from all things to follow the only true and one God through Jesus of Nazareth, the separated one, the Son. So let's get into this. I hope you're following me still as I go through this to show you absolute proof that number 6, the book of Numbers in chapter 6, we're going to read it. And I'm going to show you how it's absolutely tied to who we believe Jesus of Nazareth is, and how it has to do with you and me and anybody that has been called. All right? So right here we have in Numbers 6. And Yahweh spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the sons of Israel, that thou shalt say unto them, When any man or woman, very important here, any man or woman, these are people that have been called, would make a special vow of one of separate. That's the true translation. I think they call it Nazareth in the Old Testament in the King James, but it actually means a vow of one separate. By separating himself onto God from, okay, so it's a separation of oneself to God, okay? He's separating himself from all things around him. He's separating himself from the world, his family, everything he is separating himself from so that he is clearly focused on God. This is where we have all these things about Jesus saying what he said when they were scared, when he was at 12 years old, I'm about my Father's business. He was focused because he was fulfilling this so-called law in Numbers, okay? And this individual was to separate himself in number 6, okay? He is to separate himself. But before I get into that, I wanted to show you a pattern here. So it tells us here in number 6 too that any man or woman would do a special vow of one that was separate by separating himself unto Yahweh, unto God. Who else is this tying to? What is this directly tying to? Well, this is directly ties to Genesis 49. And in particular, Genesis 49:26, when Joseph was separated from his brethren. Right? He was separated. He went into Egypt. And of course, he was the savior of all his family. All right? He was separated. And why was he separated? Because he was what? He was despised by his brethren. Well, it's no different than Christ. Christ was despised by his people. All right? And so we have this parallel of what it actually means to be separate. And we can follow this all the way through throughout these actual, and this is the actual correlation from the actual Hebrew word. So we know for sure that this is what he's talking about. Because in Judges 13, we have the same language essentially being used about Samson, okay, and why Samson couldn't, cut his hair, which means nothing about the hair, which we'll get into a little bit, okay, but we're having the same thing, separation. What did Samson do? He saved his people, right? Of course he saved his people. It's all foreshadowing. Continuing on in 3, from wine and strong drink shall he separate himself. Neither vinegar of wine nor vinegar of strong drink shall he drink, and no liquor of grapes shall he drink. No grapes fresh or dried shall he eat. All the days of his separation, of nothing that is made from the grapevine, from the seeds, even of the skin shall he eat. All the days of his separation. Okay. Well, what does that mean? What does that truly mean? Well, let's focus here on what's being said. What is grape and vine and liquor and strong drink? What does that all mean in the spirit? It means what? It means to stay away from being intoxicated from things. Do not be drunk. Do not be in a sober mind. Have a sober mind is what's being said. Remember, throw out all the physical. Even though Christ had shown the physical to the physical nation to be true, the physical aspects still play a role in this kind of stuff. Obviously, you don't want to be drunk all the time. Well, clearly not. But it's deeper than that. Okay, it's separating yourself from the toxic world, the toxic ways. Okay? The poisoning ways of life. You must separate yourself, he says. Okay? The sourness of life, the dryness of folk. Okay? It's a separation from that. Okay? This all ties to why he during the last, I'll get into that. During the Last Supper, this is all tied to this. All right? So then it goes on here in 5. It says, all the days of his separation, no razor shall pass over his head until the days are fulfilled for which he shall separate himself unto Yahweh. Hallowed shall he be, letting the locks of his hair of his head grow long. All the days for which he has separated himself unto God. Okay? So here this guy is, he's not allowed to cut his hair because, clearly he has to have long hair, and that's why the Jews have the long hair and the Goldilocks hair, and they're doing everything physical, and they're a Jewish guy, hey, I got the locks, and that's how you know I'm who I am, and I'm not going to cut my hair, and I'm not going to do all this. It goes deeper than this. Okay? What is this actually talking about? What does it mean, the hair and the locks? Okay? Well, when you actually look these words up, razor, okay, you look up what it means in regards to one razor, it means 4177, which means not to be altered. Okay? Head, 7218. It's actually the forefront of the head, or the mind. What's in the front of the mind, right? Not to be altered. Okay, in number 6:5, talking about hair and locks, it's talking about if we look at the physical, which is what we're going to do first, this guy obviously had to look like a shaggy, nasty looking dude. He would have been hairy. He would have been nasty. His appearance would have been messy and ugly. Okay? And it would have been a dirty looking poor dude. Okay? This is all for a reason, right? God is using this appearance for a reason in the walk of Jesus Christ. Okay? I want you to jump and understand what I'm talking about here, because God is doing this in a very important way to show people that they're filled with vanity and that their eyes are what make decisions for their heart. Let me repeat that. Their eyes are what makes decisions for their heart. And when they see a dirty looking dude or somebody that's going around, doesn't matter what this man says to be truth, to look at him and say, yeah, he's dirty, he's vanity. We've all done it. All of us, we're all guilty of that. Okay? And God has shown us who we are. The vanity of our minds, vanity of our ways. That guy's dirty. I'm not going to listen to what that guy says. He's looking at me. He doesn't shave. He looks like a dirt ball, right? I mean, and this is just the physical meaning of this. But let's get to what is actually being tied to here. What's he actually tying this to? Okay, he's tying this to, well, of course, it's Isaiah 53. Jump over to Isaiah 53 for a second, and I'll show you that this Christ guy, which was fulfilling the Nazir separate one, which was Christ himself, the only separate one. This is where we're getting Jesus of Nazareth from. Go to Isaiah 53 and 2 and 3. 53 verses 2 and 3. And we're going to get what Isaiah says about what this Christ guy looked like. Okay? Who believed what we have heard? This is starting 1. In the arm of Yahweh to what it was revealed. When he came up as a sapling before him, sapling actually means a sucker. Think about that, right? Think about what that means. He came up as a sucker. What does sucker mean? Oh, you sucker, right? Born of the house of clay, right? As a root sprout out of dry ground, he had neither beauty nor majesty. When we beheld him, there was nothing to behold that we should desire him. Well, of course, right? Despised was he and forsaken of men, man of pains and familiar with sickness, like one from whom the face is hidden. Despised, and we esteemed him not. Okay, and it goes on to fulfill here in Isaiah, talking about that he's took away your sickness, he took away your pains. Okay, it's talking about this guy Jesus of Nazareth, which again has brought you back to Numbers 6:5, when God says to Moses that, hey, listen, no razor is going upon this guy's head. That's going to be a separate one for me. Okay, it means that what? Vanity, all that stuff is garbage. What you look like, how you are, it's all garbage. It's what's in your heart and in your mind, okay? And this is why the people, they looked at him and said, this is Jesus guy, right? Like, look at him. He's filthy. He's whatever, right? Okay, this is what is actually being talked about here. This is what he's doing, all right? So then we have here, okay, which is interesting too. I want you to pay attention about this hair situation. We're going to get to this later on in Numbers. And I want to give you the physical understanding of the hair and why he would look messy and everything. We just talked about that. But later on in Numbers, all the hair and all the messiness, all the nastiness, all this stuff that God commanded him to leave upon his figure which is the representation of man's vanities, man's ways of thoughts, of mind towards people, it gets all burned up. It all gets burned up when he fulfills his separation, which we'll get to in a minute. Okay, deeper meanings. It's just not Goldilocks here. All right, and number 7. All the days, okay, so to no dead person shall he go in, neither for his father nor for his mother, for his brother nor for his sister shall he make himself unclean, not even for them should they die, because his separation unto God is upon his head. Wow. You know that this is the only time that I can find in the New Testament, in the Bible, where even the priests that were sanctioned and consecrated, they were still allowed to make themselves unclean for their parents or for their immediate family. But not here. Whoa, think about that. Not here. Not for the separated one that's been called out. Okay? This is clearly 100% directly tied to Luke 9:60, which you can read on your own, and Mark 3:33 to 35. I'm showing you pictures as I go on here. This is in the city of Jerusalem, but because I know it gets kind of dull if I don't have things going on like other videos. But it doesn't matter to me. I just you're paying attention, I guess. But so, what did Christ say? Well, let the dead bury the dead. Wow, okay. Well, that's a physical thing, even though the church doesn't want to take it that way, even though modern-day Christians don't want to take it that way. Okay? Christ is pointing you back here to number 6. Okay? This guy wasn't even allowed to be a part of his own parents' death. Oh, that's terrible. Is it? Is it, though? Because when you're truly separated and you truly understand what this place is, and you truly understand what flesh and blood means, you only desire to be around those that are with the Father. That's why Mark 3:33 and 35, I believe it is, he talks about my brother, my sister, my mother are those that do the will of my Father. Okay? This is what this is talking about here. This is what is being said. Okay? Spiritually, it's deep. Okay? Most can't comprehend it. Well, that's my mom and my dad. They died. I gotta be there. Like, well, I don't know. Maybe you do. I don't know. But at what point are you going to start understanding what this being called out truly means? Flesh and blood means nothing. I'm not saying nobody's to be disrespectful. Everybody's to love your neighbor as yourself. But I'm showing you the importance of what Jesus of Nazareth truly meant. Okay? And what it actually means here. So here it says, neither for his father nor his mother nor his brother or for his sister shall he make himself unclean, not even for them should they die. Okay, that's a physical thing. But what's important to understand here is he says, to no dead person shall he go in, period. You know what that means in the Hebrew? That means no soul of one dead. Well, that means something a little bit more than somebody that, mom or dad that passed away and you're not at the funeral. That means something even greater. And those that have eyes and ears understand what this means. No soul of one dead. Well, clearly the soul here is still alive, but clearly something else is dead. And that's dead in the spirit to God. They're not even allowed to go in. He says, to no dead person shall you go in, period. End of sentence. Then he goes on to say, neither for his father nor his mother should he make himself unclean, even for them that should die. Okay, we got 2 different distinctions here, guys. One that is saying don't go into them that are dead, which is the soul of the man that is dead in the spirit, which is everybody that's not following God and been more new. That's hard to swallow. I get it. Remember, the walk is narrow here, guys. Truly is. Okay. Versus then he goes on to solidify the fact that, hey, even if that guy even dies, he's saying here, you're not to make yourself unclean. And unclean in this circumstance wouldn't be because you're cleaning up blood because buddy got hit by a car. Okay, no, it's unclean spiritually. It's all about the spirit. All right? You gotta believe this stuff. You have to understand that this is a real deal. Taking someone that's truly called into this world doesn't take things lightly. Okay, they know who they were before and they can see through the matrix and they don't desire it. They don't want any part of it. They do not want to be a hypocrite. They cannot have conversations with people to be pretend Mickey Mouse. Can't do it. Okay? They have been given a new spirit and a new life. And they ain't going to waste it this time around. I'm sorry. It's hard to take this word sometimes because it's all about, oh, I got to love, love, love. Yeah? Yeah, you love. But you love biblically. And you love through the living word. And the word is truth. And love is truth. Okay? So continuing on. All his days of separation, hallowed is he unto Yahweh. 9. But if one that is dying should die by him in a moment suddenly, then shall he count unclean his head of separation, and he shall shave his head on the day he hath cleanseth himself. On the 7th day shall he shave it, and on the 8th day shall he bring in 2 turtle doves, 2 young pigeons unto the priest of the entrance of the tent of meeting. And the priest shall make of a sin bearer and of one of ascending sacrifice, and so put a propitiatory covering over him, for he sinned in respect of a dead person. Thus shall he hallow his head on that day. Whoa! He sinned. So somebody, according to this, if somebody just dropped dead around you and you were with the person that dropped dead, oh man, you just sinned. You have to make an offering now. This is how it reads, right? That's why people don't understand what's being said here. What's actually being said is that if you slip up, if you fall back into the world, you've missed the mark, you failed, and you have to be covered. And there's a covering that has to be done for you. This is absolutely tied to many called, few chosen. Many daughters have done well, but you excel them all, Proverbs 31. Okay? It's tied to Matthew 26:28, when Christ's blood was shed for the many, not the all. Many have been called, but they've missed the mark. And I'm going to show you here that when it says here that in 12, in 11, it says, unto the priest, enters the tent of meeting, and shall make a sin bearer and the ascending sacrifice, and so put a propitiatory covering over him, for that he sinned in respect of a dead person. Okay, what's being said? Sinned here actually means he failed or he missed the mark. We're talking about one that's been called, has been separated. Jesus of Nazareth, Chance from Canada, Johnny from Mexico. He missed the mark in his calling. He failed. Dead person is talking about the soul of a dead man. You missed the mark. You fell away. There remains no more sacrifice for those that have been given the truth, but you have put Jesus Christ to an open shame. Everything is tied. Everything is done perfectly. Many called, few chosen. So here there's a covering for them that have sinned, or in the proper translation, missed the mark. Okay? Missed the mark. Judas missed the mark. Okay? That's just a physical example, even though it was prophesied to happen and was going to happen that way anyway. But that's an easy one to show. Then, 12. Then shall he separate unto Yahweh his days of separation, and shall bring in a he-lamb, a year old, as a guilt bearer, and the first day shall he be lost. Okay, shall be lost because the separation was made unclean. Okay, lost, he fell away. Okay, lost here, okay, in 12 is fall away. Lost. He was lost. Man, Very deep understanding. Very, very, very deep understanding here in number 6. Okay? Number 6, 9 through 12 is talking about one that has fallen away from the calling. That's all it is, guys. And the actual language that you call in this book proves it for those that have eyes and ears to see. Okay? Lost. Okay? The first day shall be lost because of his separation was made unclean. Okay? He fell out or falled out or he was lost. All right? Deeper meanings, deeper understandings. Jesus of Nazareth is not a physical Nazareth place. Okay? It's actually a separation. 13. And this is the law of the separate one, the Nazarite, which is, again, the separated one, on the day when he fulfilleth his days of separation. Okay? He's now fulfilled it. This would be the end of our calling. This would be the end of our life. And we have now received what? What do you have received? You've received the eternal crown of glory with God and with Christ. Okay? Then he shall bring near, okay, so he fulfills the separation. He shall be brought into the entrance of the tent meeting. Then shall bring near of his offering unto God a lamb of a year old, without defect, for an ascending sacrifice, one lamb, a year old without defect for a sin bearer, and one ram without defect for a peace offering, and a basket of unleavened bread, fine meal, and round cakes overflowed with oil, okay, and then cakes of unleavened bread anointed with oil, with their meal offering and with their drink offering. Okay? Then shall the priest bring them near before Yahweh, and his sin offering and ascending offering the ram, and shall be a peace offering unto the Lord beside the basket of unleavened cakes. And the priest shall offer the meal offering therefore and the drink offering thereof. Okay? This is Christ. This is his offering. This is after the 3 days and 3 nights. This is the wave sheaf offering. Okay? This is absolutely Jesus Christ to its complete fulfillment. Okay, this is him fulfilling Jesus of Nazareth. This is him fulfilling the separated one. Okay, what all these offerings here, the drink, the oil, all this stuff is deeper meanings. I've spoken about it in Leviticus a little bit, but it all represents Christ. It all represents being filled with God's spirit and energy. Okay, and this goes to the, the absolute new covenant symbols, which we understand in the New Testament, which is the bread and the wine. Okay, or the body, the flesh, the lamb, the ram, and the drink offering, which is the wine or the blood of Jesus Christ, which is the consumption of who he is in its entirety and being separated in him, with him, through him to the Father. Okay, Christ was offered up to God as this fulfillment after 3 days and 3 nights in the grave. Okay, but pay attention to something very, very, very fascinating here. Okay, remember I was talking about the hair, right? It's important. Listen to this. Then shall the bring, then 18. Then shall the separate one shave at the entrance of the tent of meeting his head of separation, and take the hair of his head of which the separation, and put it upon the fire, which is under the peace offering. So here's this guy, takes his hair, all of his hair of his head, his beard, his head, everything. This scuffy looking, dirty looking dude that hasn't shaved for who knows how long. Christ was what? They tell us 3 years, right? That's what they tell us. That's why he's got the long hair, right? He would have a little bit more hair in his face than what they portray him to, by the worldly standards here. But regardless of the Mickey Mouse, he shaved everything and threw it in the fire. Well, that's pretty fascinating when you look at it, even in a physical sense, that here he is with the razor knife, and he's got his hair off as I fulfilled it. No, it doesn't mean anything like that. What does that mean? What's been burred up, and what has been piled up in all that hair? Remember, hair is all knotty and locky, and when you don't wash it, of course, right? You can imagine how long it would be, and how greasy, and how filthy, and how dirty, and how many knots and things growing in it, and all this nastiness. All the people that looked at him and spit at him and slapped him and punched him and all the horrific things that he did to him. It's very symbolic, isn't it? And it's all cut away. And it's put under, not the ascending sacrifice, which is, I'm not going to get into, but the peace sacrifice. He has made peace for all of us. It was burned up. It's chilling. It actually gives goosebumps when you truly understand what's being burnt up here. All the hate and the vanity and the disgustingness of humans that has been entangled and entwined within his beard and his hair as a representation of something that needs to be sizzled up and burnt up. It's incredible when the book comes to life. This is the living word. This is not written. And the priest shall wave, 19. Then shall the priest take the shoulder for the boiling of the ram and the unleavened round cake for the basket and the unleavened cake, and place them on the hands of the separate one after he has shaven off all of his hair for separation. And the priest shall wave them as a wave offering before Yahweh or God. Hallowed is it is for the priest, beside the wave breast, besides the leg. And afterwards may the separate one drink wine. Wow. I'm not going to get into what it means for the right leg. I've already done that a little bit in Leviticus. I don't want to get into it. It's too much. It's too deep for a lot of people. But for the simplicity of this, here he is. He's been offered up after the 3 days and 3 nights. He's at the presence of God in the tent of meeting. It says here, but he's actually in the throne room of God. So why Mary couldn't touch him, because he was going to be unclean by a woman if he touched her. He said, "Don't touch me." He had to go up. He had to do this perfect sacrifice. Okay, he is in front of God. He has made the atonement. He has cut all the stuff off. He's got all the nasty grease. He's got everything that has been put on him. So God turned away from him, right? "Why have you forsaken me?" Couldn't look at all the sin that was put upon the greasy head of him. Okay, it was all cut up. It was all done. It was all fulfilled. It was all being burnt up. It was a beautiful sacrifice. The only and one only sacrifice that could take away everything that's filthy about this place was burnt up. Was burnt up right in front of God. And he laid it at the feet and said, "I have completed your work, Father. All have been done." Truly, 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 truly remarkable. Okay? And what does God say? He says, "Have a drink. Drink wine." Whoa, man, oh man, what is he talking about here? What has he pointed you to? What does he point at you to? Tied the wave sheaf offering with the 3 days and 3 nights as he presented himself to God, all sacrificed, all burnt up, all was fulfilled. Thus why he says to him at the end of 20, which I just read, at the end of 20 he says, after he has waved it, Christ being the wave offering, the priest shall wave them, okay? And he says, the separate one, drink wine. Drink wine. That's why he says at the end of 20, which is absolutely pointing every single called out one to Luke 22, 14 through 21, which is the new covenant symbols, which is why Christ said in Luke 22, 14 through 21, do it yourself. Why Christ said, "I will drink no wine until I enter into the kingdom of God and drink it new with you." Luke 22, 14 through 21. This is what he is talking about. It's been fulfilled. All of it has been burnt up. The hair, the nastiness has been burnt up. And now, puts you to all the way forward to Luke when Christ says, I will drink it new with you. Not going to drink the vine, remember? Not going to drink it. I'm going to drink it new with you in the kingdom of God, which fulfills the Nazir, who Jesus actually was, the Jesus of Nazareth. It doesn't matter about the physical land of Israel. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter if there's a place in Nazareth. I really don't care. It doesn't even mean that. Okay? I mean, it's just this is the law of this one separate. What he shall vow is vow offering unto God with respect to his separation besides what he may obtain. Okay? As required by the vow that he should vow, so must he do with respect to the law of his separation. Okay? And what it talks about here about what he may obtain, okay, it's talking about there's other things that he could have had done, right? He could have added more things that we don't know. Remember, there's many things that I want to say unto you, but you cannot bear them now. Okay? Everything means everything, guys. All right? We're going to finish off here in 22 to 27, which is the one that actually has been separated. Okay? Those that have been truly called. Remember, who's been born new? Those that actually have been separated and truly have been separated, truly have accepted the Nazir, truly is Chanse of Nazareth, or Johnny from Nazareth, or Billy, or Josh, or anybody from Nazareth. When they've truly have completed this and have truly have been in the day of separation and are continuing in fulfilling their days of separation, as they continue to turn themselves away from worldly people, worldly family. Turn away and do not make themselves unclean. Okay, which people can't even do. Even called out ones can't do this, man. Oh, it's my mom, it's my dad, they raised me. You don't get it. You truly haven't gotten it. Oh, he's my friend. No, you don't get it. I'm sorry. I'm here to tell you that. You don't get it. I'm sorry. I'm just telling you the truth. Okay? But he says here for those that are truly walking in this path, he says, and God spoke unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron and his sons, saying, thus shall ye bless the sons of Israel, saying unto them, this is one of the most beautiful scriptures, I think, almost in the Bible. And this pertains to you, the one that's walking this separate path. God bless thee. Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. Yahweh cause his face to shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee. Yahweh lift up his face unto thee, and appoint unto thee peace. Thus shall they put my name upon the sons of Israel, and I myself will bless them. I can tell you right now, I've never in my entire life have been more blessed from God in the last 2 years than in my entire existence on this earth. And all praise and glory and power go to God the Father and Jesus Christ. All of it. I am so grateful for their mercy and grace and their peace that they have put upon me and my family. It's truly remarkable, and I can't even explain to somebody that has no understanding and hasn't walked and has the same all things in common. I can't put it into words. It's his peace that he puts onto us. And I know there's many of you out there. And I pray that there'll be many more. I hope you got something from this. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I hope you can see that it doesn't matter about Bethlehem. It doesn't matter about Jerusalem, which just basically means his peace upon you. Nazareth, Galilee. I've been sharing pictures of this place that I went, and I thought I had to go to. These are pictures that I've been showing you that I took myself. Okay? And these mean nothing. But they're a good add-on to this teaching today of what it truly means to be from Bethlehem, the house of clay, house of dust. To be sent into Egypt, this place you're living in, and then to be separated, Jesus of Nazareth, unto God. and forsaken all things of Egypt to walk the path so that you may be able to shave off your face and your hair and burn it all up and receive the new wine and the blessing of Jesus Christ and God the Father. I hope this has given you some more clarity on to who has been truly born new and those that are walking still in the worldly ways of Christianity.